The weekend saw Major League Rugby 2024 showcase its last 4 teams as the conference finalists in both the East and the West battled it out to book a spot in the championship game next Sunday in San Diego. We started in Quincy, New England for the Eastern Conference title, as New England Free Jacks, reigning champions from last season, played host to number 3 side in the East, the Chicago Hounds, who came off an impressive victory last weekend in NOLA. That confidence was evident for the Hounds as they seemed to be the better of the 2 sides in the opening exchanges. A midfield attacking scrum nearly proved to be the kickstart to the game's first try. Going through the phases, the ball eventually came back to the other side of the field, where winger Nate Augsburger was only inches from the try line and a first score of the match.
And they could not get into the try zone. Now the ball comes free.
The Hounds kept hold of the ball, but the Free Jacks' defence held firm, as Hounds prop Revolt Pitt just got held up over the line.
No signal yet, and he's going to say this one is held up, I do believe.
The Free Jacks made their way up the field, and the first points of the game came just before the 20-minute mark. Some attritional phases eventually allowed Jason Potros to see a slight chink in the Hounds' defence, reversing play to the far side for Balakana and Reese McDonald to do the damage and give the Free Jacks the first try of the game.
Back to Potros, way out over the top. Here's the guy that can do damage. It's Balakana, but he offloads into the hands of McDonald.
Reese McDonald would then add another try of his own. This one not quite as simple as the last, as this potentially being the candidate of try of the season. The fullback gliding his way through the Chicago Hounds defense and scoring in the corner. Potros was unable to make the conversion again, but Free Jacks had a 10-0 lead.
Watch this, when he puts his foot on the gas, he just goes. He just makes that one step. There's that gap. That's all he needs, and that's 2 Type 5 players. He picked out 2 Type 5 players, found his hole.
It would take the Hounds until just before the end of the first half, and it would be their fullback, Adrian Carser, who decided he could do exactly what Reese McDonald could do. Gliding his way on a counter-attack, eventually he got his offload away to Nate Augsburger to score, and with Carty's conversion, the Free Jacks only had a 10-7 lead going into the break.
What a play! Nate Augsburger! The Hounds bark back!
Beginning of the second half, the Free Jacks were the first to get points on the board with a Potros penalty.
And that one right down Commonwealth Ave, as they would say in Boston.
But Chicago kept building pressure, and with a yellow card to Free Jacks' Connor Keys, Carty had a chip shot and 3 points to his own. Potros did add another penalty, but the Free Jacks looked on the rocks. This 5-metre line-out for the Hounds was the catalyst for their first try of the second half, as Dylan Fawcett did what he'd been doing all season, guiding himself from the back of the maul to touchdown for his 13th of the MLR season, and with Carty's conversion, the Hounds had a 17-16 lead.
Bit of a shove on, then the backs come in. Billy Meeks comes in. I think McLean Jones from the outside, he also comes to join it, and it's just too powerful.
But the reigning champions showed why they had been the top of the pile in the East. Continuous and patient pressure close to the Chicago line finally gave Canadian international Andrew Quattrin the opportunity to bury himself over the line, and the Free Jacks to get a score that got them the lead, 23-17, with just under 10 minutes to go.
He's short. Anselmi right in there at the back. The power move, and the Free Jacks believe they're in.
Hounds threw everything they could, but the physical defence and pure grittiness from Scott Matthey's men would be enough in the end. The New England Free Jacks became back-to-back Eastern Conference champions, booking themselves a trip to San Diego and another visit to the MLR's championship game.
Once again, how many times have we said this? Jason Potros into touch, and New England, they move on to their second straight Major League Rugby Championship match.
Sunday saw proceedings move to the West as 2-time MLR champions Seattle Seawolves hosted the MLR's dark horse this season, Dallas Jackals, at Starfire Stadium. The Jackals, who had beaten #1 seeded Houston Sabercats last week, showed why they were full of confidence in the opening 15 minutes. Oliver's penalty was added to by this wonderful try and finish from Nicholas Ben, and with the conversion, the Jackals went into a 10-0 lead.
Trying to get there, diving and get it down. One hand and they get it down. What a play there, putting that ball down from Dallas.
Dallas.
Seattle had an impressive home record of 8-1 this season at Starfire, and just after 20 minutes, the Seawolves gave their home fans something to cheer about. With Dallas down to 14 men, this powerful Seawolves drive proved too much for the Jackals, and a penalty try was awarded, resulting in another yellow card for the Jackals to deal with.
14, and Scott Green sticks the arm in the air.
Penalty try. There you go. I mean, talk about the ascendancy coming from the line-out drive. The yellow, another one.
The Seawolves, though, couldn't make the Jackals pay, even with the two-man advantage. Oliver struck another penalty to bring the visitors to a 13-7 lead.
Looks pretty good, and he is good once again.
The Jackals continued to show their impressive style of rugby, even with the numerical disadvantage. This wonderful offload from fullback Malanos gave Ben his second try of the game, and with the conversion, the Jackals went to an amazing 20-7 lead.
Back quickly, you see big number 18, Kyle Steves there hobbling around, one of the props. Now here comes Dallas with some speed. Offload, they're going to take another one into that corner, and it's the same guy. It's Nick Ben.
Frustration was clearly building for the Seattle Seawolves as this reckless clear-out from Nakuru resulted in another yellow card being shown in the game, this time for the Seawolves. But Alan Clark's men had enough experience to calm things down. None more so than USA Eagle hooker Joe Taufete'e, who after some patient work from the maul eventually buried himself over the line for an automatic 7 points and take the score to 20-14 just before the break.
And they're down by 13 points. Scott Green right there, nothing yet. Smith trying to get in there. Instead, he lets one of the forwards take it, and they get it down. And it is put down in there by Big Joe.
The beginning of the second half saw the Seawolves come out strong and Tavita Lepetti coming out like a bulldozer. This powerful run eventually allowed captain JP Smith to snipe over the line to get Seattle's third try of the game and take the lead 21-20.
There, little dummy dives in, JP Smith. He gets it down. And Seattle gets the points you guys talked about. The 9 finishes the deal, and it's a 1-point match.
JP Smith was starting to show his class even more. A beautiful run saw the scrum half get over the line, but a TMO interjection showed that the USA Eagle had incredibly dropped the ball just before putting it down, one which Smith will never want to see again.
What a try from Seattle, and they extend the lead now.
Okay, we're giving you an answer. Let's move on.
Here it is. Here's the grounding coming up from JP Smith. Is there anything in this?
Just wait there, please.
Oh,
no. Right there.
Just came out of his hand.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
yep.
my.
Was that the lifeline that Dallas needed? This brilliantly executed 50-22 from scrum half Oliver, who had been exceptional all game, gave the Jackals a line-out chance to push it in. The forwards duly took it, and Thomas Beckerman scored to give the Dallas Jackals an incredible moment that many thought might book their ticket to San Diego and the championship game next Sunday.
They are close. Scott Green right there. Jackals trying to hammer this thing down. Green down, they've got it down.
But with only 2 minutes left on the clock, the Seawolves had other ideas. With the crowd on the edge of their seats, the ball eventually made it out to player of the match, Divian Rousseau, who put the dagger in the Jackals' hearts and cut through the Dallas line.
Go! Inside of the 22, the ball into the hands there on the pass from Rousseau, and they get it down. Ryan Reese puts it down, and they're up 1.
Ryan Reese sent the Starfire crowd into a craze, and the Seawolves marched on, defeating the valiant Dallas Jackals 28-25, winning the Western Conference in style.
And they're headed to the Major League Rugby Championship to face New England.
That put an end to an incredible weekend of conference finals. Seattle Seawolves will play New England Free Jacks next Sunday at Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego to see who will be crowned 2024 Major League Rugby champions.